presented. I don't know how long it's been since I've presented, but my name is Jason Stein, if you haven't heard me before. And I started my career in 1998 as an acupuncturist. So it means that I've been an acupuncturist for over 25 years. And pretty quickly, if you could put everyone on mute, please, Becky.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, there's one button. Hey, Kirk, can you hear us?
Is that Kurt?
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, it was okay.
And so in 1998, I became an acupuncturist. That means I've been an acupuncturist for over 25 years. And in my first couple of years, I was recruited by a hospital. And so I built an integrative medicine program in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, as a doctor of Oriental medicine. And I got recruited by the schools to start teaching business curriculum because my grandfather was an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur. And I was that kid in high school that would go to, it wasn't Costco, it was Sam's Club at the time, and buy like candy in bulk and resell. That was my first gig. And you know, I had a paper route, and I've always liked to understand the function of business. And so more than a decade ago, I created a separate company called Wellness Renegades, where I do executive and wellness business coaching for both providers and founders of businesses. And what I love is this new form of living life on your own terms. So really getting into entrepreneurship because you want your own schedule, but you got to be profitable. Like, it can't be a hobby business or it doesn't pay the bills. And I've lived my life on my own terms, where I now live in Joseph, Oregon. So I'm in Eastern Oregon. And my wife and I, 2 years ago, built a wellness center from the ground up. So we own a wellness center that has naturopathic medicine, acupuncture, massage, infrared sauna. We do IVs. We do a lot of different things here because we believe that to be a healthy entrepreneur, you need to have a healthy body. And so I split my time between still doing acupuncture because I love it, and doing coaching, both locally and nationally. So with that said, be seen, be heard, be remembered. This came up because I asked Becky, if I came back in, what would you want? And I did this topic, I don't know, 5 years ago. It's been a while.
It was way before COVID, yeah.
Could be even longer. It could be 10 years ago. I've been doing this stuff for a while. And so I realized I needed to revamp it. So I really had fun going into what has worked, what has changed. And so the presentation you're getting is not 10 years old. It really is about right here, right now. Now, what we're going to do today, I'm going to switch this over here. There. Really have only 3 objectives for our time together. The first is understanding market research and why it's so important to your 30-second commercial. The second is to discover templates that work. And the third is to review real examples in real time rather than theory, because I'm not a big theory guy. I want to know what actually is working. So we take a look at the timeline, marketing and elevator pitches. And I always look for the origin. I like to know where it started, how has it progressed over time. And really 1911, Northwest Ayers and Son started marketing with Procter and Gamble. And it really didn't switch until 20s or 30s when it became more commonplace because Gallup surveys came into place. And if you don't know about Gallup surveys, maybe you're younger and you don't know what like a yellow page Dex book looked like. They used to have people walk door to door and interview people and get surveys. And so Gallup surveys still exist because it's a consensus. So the US consensus gives us a lot of data. And if you live in Portland or Beaverton or Hillsborough, it's important that you know who lives around you because it gives you a lot of points of interest, knowing the median income, knowing the age range, knowing how many children are there and what school systems there are. So this changed into the first 30-second commercial, which was 1941. And it was at a Dodgers-Phillies game. It's when the Dodgers were still in Brooklyn. And it was a watch company. And it basically was saying, you know, are you on Bolivia time? And it was the Bolivia Watch Company. And from there, we know advertising and marketing is common day. We see it everywhere, whether we're riding the bus or we go to the bathroom. There's marketing and advertising all around us at all times. So the 1950s is when Coca-Cola realized that data analysis was important. So what that means is metrics. How do you take something that has corn syrup and dye and bubbles and sell it globally? Some people drink more Coca-Cola in parts of the world than they do water because it's safer than the water.
Wow.
Right? And so Coca-Cola has made a global empire because of their market research. They really understand the marketplace. Now, in the 80s, the elevator pitch really came into play in Hollywood because you had 30 seconds from the bottom floor to the top floor to pitch your story idea to the directors. And it's not a lot of time. Often I will see people that do YouTube videos and they're like 5 minutes long. And if they looked at their metrics, they would realize they lost their audience in the first 30 seconds. Now, there's a reason that Instagram Reels, your time, YouTube Shorts, your time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not doing it, I'll talk just a little bit about Google Business Profiles because I'm an expert and a specialist in Google Business Profiles. You can have 30-second videos on Google Business Profiles, and currently only 17% of all places that have a profile have even done one video, much less regular videos on Google Business Profile. So why is this important? Well, because Google owns 96% of the search engine, and there's billions of people looking for your business every day. Now, Google Maps, if you pop up towards the top, people are searching for realtor near me, mortgage lender near me, acupuncturist near me. And the higher you are up in the Google search engine, specifically on maps and places, the more you're going to be found. And I live in a town of 1,200. Like there's 7,000 people in the county, and there's 1,200.
Wow.
There's 1,200 in Joseph, Oregon, which means there's one person for every 2 miles. And because I use Google Business Profiles for my wellness center, we got 45 calls last month.
Wow.
Right? So really, I could have done this whole call on Google Business Profiles, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do it on
next time.
Introducing yourself. All right. So, which is more important in research, human interaction or technology? Any guesses? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Human interaction or technology? Becky, can you read the chat for me, please?
Yeah. Okay. Julie Little said human interaction.
Okay. Any other choices? Somebody else just
Michelle Grove said, Lynn said human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, human interaction so far.
Okay, great. So, trick question, it's both.
Oh, that's not fair.
If you aren't using ChatGPT or some sort of AI services in your company right now, you're going to get left behind. You will become the 8-track tape to digital media. And I know you work word of mouth, and maybe you have for the last 40 years. I also can guarantee that there's someone that does what you do, and they're telling stories online, and they're using AI for systems and flow that are going to beat you. And so if you find that people are eating out of your marketplace, it's a younger generation that understands technology. So no longer is it a question, should you have a newsletter? Should you be on one social media channel? Should you use SEO? The answer is yes, because SEO alone could take half your business in 6 months. Like if someone comes in and they target your audience well with good systems and flows, you really could start hurting. Has anyone on the call seen that happen? Because I've seen it happen to other people. Okay. So make sure if you're not going to use technology that you use old school thanking people for referrals and making sure you acknowledge your clients in some way. Because if you don't acknowledge your clients, they're going to go be seen by somebody else. When we take a look at market research, I think it's really good if you're going to work on an elevator pitch or some sort of introduction, you want to conduct interviews. I would aim for 10 people. I'd use a webinar format. So Google Meet, Zoom, FaceTime, any of them can work. But my guess is you're already downstream where you're like, well, I say this thing and it kind of works. And I think I know what people want. So I'm really, and I'm calling you out. I think that's might bite you because people change, needs change, interests change. And so for you to figure out in real time what people want and need, it's only going to add to the level of service and quality that you can deliver to them.
I think things have changed dramatically since COVID too.
Yeah.
The way we do
Absolutely.
business. I mean, dramatic changes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, anyone that was set up online did okay. My business thrived during COVID. And some people got PPE loans and collapsed. I know a wellness center that's going through bankruptcy right now because
wow.
COVID, you know, the state came in and said, you got to shut down. You're not allowed to see patients. And it was enough of a hit. And they had really relationship driven business and they weren't leveraged online. And that killed them because their landlord still made them pay the lease, right?
Yeah.
So market research and where to find these people, friends and family who fit your ideal patient or client, existing patients or clients who love your work, local community groups, local gyms, networking events, referral from colleagues, your email list, and especially your I take the lead fellow colleagues. Like in I take the lead, if you're not getting leads, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Because really, I take the lead was where it's almost like a mastermind principle where two or more are gathered, there's just a higher level of potential. So if you go to I take the lead every week and you're spending that hour in a weekly meeting and you're sharing and you're not getting any leads at all, I would go back to the drawing board and start to question, what are you saying and what are you sharing? Because it's not working. Now, sometimes, this doesn't happen very often, but occasionally you don't resonate with the group, so there's an energetic block, go find a different group, right? So, great interviews and questions. What's your big change? So what I often do, this is like a template that you can get. So I see Michelle's face here, real estate, you know, what's your big change? Well, what home are you looking for? Like, what's the dream home and what are 3 principles that you would list out that you're wanting to find? And why? Why is that important to you? And what are your challenges in that? And what do you need? What are 3 things that are going to help you? And then as opposed to a mentor or coach, like a realtor, have you thought about hiring a realtor that knows the changes? Now, real estate has really flipped in the last year with the buyer and the seller and who's paying the percentage, right? So Michelle's going to shake her head because she knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? And so what I would say is, like, be the first innovator to make that a positive rather than a negative. Because I know a lot of realtors that are like, this is going to ruin my business. This change, and the change is already here, so you can roll it into a positive, right? Now, getting these questions, you're going to find most of the general public has no idea this change in real estate has occurred, right? So education's super important. What you are going to find is that you may have a subspecialty in real estate. And that subspecialty may be larger properties. It could be downsizing. It could be first-time home buyers. It could be that you only do Milwaukee, Oregon. Like, the more you have the subspecialty, the more you're going to understand the audience in that community. So finding the right people. When you're finding people for these interviews, super important that you find people that need your help. So again, we're going to use Michelle as the example. I'm not encouraging Michelle to go interview people that already own a home and aren't looking to buy or sell. You want to interview people that want a real estate agent in the next year. And really, what are their questions? Like, really learn from them. People will help out if they're not in your target market, but they're going to skew your results and they're going to give you different answers than people that are in your target market.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm a data fiend, so I think using a spreadsheet can be super helpful because you have all your answers in one place and then you can see the crossover. Every time I talk to someone about real estate, they say the market's too high and they want more property. So you can start to find properties that are outside the inner city, and you can start to create some systems for how do you find out quickly what properties go on for larger acreage, right? Those are systems that you could have in place already. I'm going to stop right here. I don't know how many are on the call. How many are on the call?
Well, let's see. Nine.
Nine.
Kirk had to leave. We had
No
10,
worries,
but-
Kirk. You can listen to the recording. So very curious. Any questions about anything I've covered so far? Because I like interaction and I don't want to just speak into an echo chamber. Or
And
any
just
kind of-
unmute yourself if you have any questions.
or any insights as I'm speaking. Does any of this make sense?
What you're talking about, especially regarding real estate, struck a note with me because of Chris Mack, who I think you've worked with.
Yeah,
And I already
Chris Mack
see-
is in this power deck.
Yeah,
You'll see
yeah,
his face in a second.
And I already see him throwing things up and doing videos specifically talking about the changes. So
Yeah.
he's right there on top of it.
Yeah.
And he maintains contact. So when I bought a place last year, I said, Chris, take over from here. And then I got him a lead for the lady across the street. He's really good at staying in touch with people.
When I met with Chris, this was a long time ago. He was probably his first year, maybe 2 years into real estate. And I said, Chris, you got to start doing videos. And he started doing them and he hasn't stopped.
Yeah, he does a really good job with them. They're getting better all the time.
So let's hear one more. Ria, anything, is this landing for you?
You may think I'm crazy, but I'm totally lost. Are you talking about getting a new client? Or are you talking about working with people from I Take the Lead in other groups?
I'm so glad you asked. See, this is why I asked this question.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, Ria, is I'm talking about normally when we introduce ourselves, we've created something internally and we've done zero market research. So
Okay.
whatever you say at I Take the Lead when you get your 60-second intro may be able to be polished and bring you more clientele.
Okay, so we're not talking about talking to clients.
We're talking about introducing yourself. So not just I Take the Lead, but you may go do a public presentation. What do you do for a living?
Landscape. I'm a landscape office manager.
Okay, great. So you're a landscape office manager, but the landscape company would love it if you did some sales. Like if you brought some new business, they'd be super happy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there are places that bring in landscape talks to educate people, right? And so it could be that your introduction could be about you to the public. And we'll get into this more deeply, Ria. I just want you to follow along. We're talking about why to do the market research, and it's to connect more with the needs of the people.
Okay.
Great. Anyone else lost? Just take yourself off mute.
No,
for a
I don't
sec.
think I'm lost, but I have kind of some thoughts on I'm Julie.
Hi, Julie.
I'm a well-being coach.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. I'm excited to meet you.
Yeah.
So I have asked all my clients and people that I've even, done a get to know you call with and stuff
Yeah.
about like some of these questions. Like, I mean, I automatically know what are their needs and what are they looking for. And they're so different.
Yeah.
One lady I've had for 7 years, and her original thing was to lose weight, and then somebody had a
Right.
husband die, and so it never has ever felt like asking what is your big change, and these kind of same questions carries over to the next particular people because theirs is different.
Yeah. So for you, I'd switch it. And I really appreciate that you came on. And I'd ask that first question. I would say, what's your biggest frustration with your healthcare?
Well, and I really don't just do health. I kind of do mental health and anxiety and all kinds of,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sort
but
of
here's the problem,
changes.
Julie.
Uh-huh.
The problem is you got to start to hone it in because you work with everyone. You work with people that have heartbeats.
No, not really health anymore. I used to. I used to.
Yeah. So
Well-being, more well-being in terms of like getting through difficult transitions or finding something new in your life that you want to do. So what I did hone it down to very recently was like loss and what happens after a big loss. So that's like as specific as I've ever gotten.
okay, great. And so if you're marketing loss, then the question would be, what's the biggest challenge that you face when experiencing loss?
Okay.
What's helped the most, right?
Yeah.
So again, I said you can use these questions as a template, but you could fine tune them.
Yeah.
Now, you deal with loss. How targeted is your content that you're creating? Are you talking about loss of a loved one? Are you talking about miscarriage? Right? Are you talking about losing a pet? All of those could pertain, but those are different articles and not one article.
Right. Right. So loss of a significant loved one, which does include pets, but it's sort of a
Yeah.
different.
It does. It does. So are you transitioning then as a loss coach?
I don't
Like a grief-
know. I
a
feel like
grief-
I could be. The last few people, I just pay attention to, who I'm getting. And
Right.
boy, I've had some really good results with them.
Great. And they both experience loss?
A number of them, yeah,
Great.
are in that category, yeah. Of
Then I
experiencing
would go
loss.
interview 5 people that have experienced loss that aren't clients and learn from them.
Okay, got it.
And by learning from them, you're going to get key phrases, you're going to get some similarities of resonance, and you're going to be able to craft something so you can speak directly to the person experiencing loss. They're going to hear you see them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm going to say that again. They're going to hear you see them.
Yes.
And here's the thing, when you're doing 30-second commercials and an audience of 20 people, all 20 are thinking about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're either thinking, holy crap, the mic's getting closer, or they're thinking, is what the person's saying of any interest to me?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Julie, for
Yeah.
speaking up.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. This is a kind of like poor man, poor woman's research that I love. Find book reviews on Amazon with the same topic. So we're going to come back to Julie. Go find the top sellers that are about loss and grief and read both the positive and the constructive reviews and read the back cover to identify the language they use.
I just was looking up the title, Life After Loss, and I found that book. So the
Yeah.
lady has that very same book. So I know exactly where to start. Thank you.
Now, yeah. And most people don't read the negative reviews. So if you go read the 1-star reviews, you're going to find what the book missed that people are looking for. Right? So let's take this, the infertility cure. You know, I'm also a Western provider. You know, I say Western, I do acupuncture, but I'm also do a lot of functional medicine. And fertility is dropping by a full % every year. And we're headed towards a serious crisis. And if you don't know why, the reason is really external environment and food sources have too many endocrine disruptors now. So we're changing the hormone of the biological human at too quick of a rate. And so it's impacting fertility. Now, there's certain things you can do about that, but the fertility cure, it had 696 4.5-star reviews, right? Now, I was interested because it's ancient Chinese medicine, program for getting pregnant and having healthy babies. What a great subtitle. So in 6 chapters in, and I'm just getting to the point where she feels like getting advice. Besides just doing acupuncture, I agree that acupuncture is great for fertility. If you get a good acupuncturist who specializes in fertility, but otherwise she recommends the kind of random supplements. I would just read, it starts with the egg. It's much better book and has Harvard-backed research. So what this leads me to believe is there's a need in the marketplace for evidence-based fertility. Do you see how I connect those dots? Now, evidence-based fertility is different than working with a fertility coach who's an intuitive fertility coach. There's a market for both, but you want to decide after reading what the needs are and interviewing your population, what are you most passionate about? Now, Julie, I've found people that have gone into loss because it's who keeps coming to them, but they hated it, right? And so you can't go just because the door's knocking. You have to go where you love. I love helping people out of pain because if they go to the doctor, I know that they're going to get 5 minutes and they're going to get a prescription, usually for an opioid. I know exactly how that's going to go. And if I can treat them with acupuncture, normally I only do 4 to 6 treatments. I don't need more. And what I do is I enroll them on getting a foam roller. I enroll them on drinking more water. I enroll them in a formula I love called Inflammatone, which is like natural Advil that doesn't go through the liver. It's more turmeric based. I know it works. So we come to the back, a groundbreaking alternative approach to treating infertility using Chinese medicine on its own or optimized with the latest Western-based reproductive technology. Now, I can take that into layman's terms, and what they're saying is we don't just use Chinese medicine, we help people doing IUI and IVF. That's what they're saying. So knowing what is already selling and what's already getting great reviews is going to help you with languaging. You can use that languaging in your introduction. Chat, GPT, and AI. Just say AI if you currently use any AI like Chat or another service in your business now. And let's see.
AI.
Haven't yet.
AI.
Haven't yet. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So it's not going away. If you use ChatGPT, I recommend, if you can afford it in your business, the $30 to get the current one. So I pay for mine because I'm 6 months ahead of where you are for free. And in 6 months in technology AI terms is like a decade to a century. That's how fast it's moving. I'll give you an example. I was creating the power slides for this deck. And I asked for a few examples of 30-second commercials using some formulas that I know that you can use for creating your 30-second commercial. And it used me as the example, and it talked about wellness, business coaching, and acupuncture. Because it knew I was asking the question. So AI is a huge waste of time unless you're buying a system that's already programmed using marketing flows, or you're creating really good prompts. The better the prompt, the better the answer. So what you're telling AI to give you is very important. Now, it could be that you use one of the formulas that I'll give you at the end of this call, and then you put it into chat. And then I would use two qualities that are about you. Maybe they're professional and simple, right? Please rewrite this to make it more professional and simple. Now, the two I use, because I do use AI for my newsletter, and I'll tell you how I use it, because I think that's super important as well. I put in the prompt, please make this more engaging and humorous, because that's who I am. I'm a mixture between Eminem and Dalai Lama, right? So you want to know the qualities. If you don't know the qualities of who you are, think about the core values you made for your business. They're already there. Now, with the way I use chat is I will write the blog post out by myself the first time, but I'll more free write it where I'm not worried about grammar. I'm worried about the storytelling and the context and the teaching and the message. And then I have chat polish it. And I think that's very important for two reasons. One is if I have chat just write me a blog post about acupuncture and pain relief, it's not going to have the human storytelling that I can create. It also may not have the belief structures that I believe about medicine. Now, this is true on the wellness side because I also write once a month an article for my business clients. And I know what works specifically in Google and on Google Business. Like if you type in acupuncture business coach around the world, I will come up number one. Right? So you want to use you and then have chat polish you. That's the way that I think is the best. If you do it in reverse, I think you're going to miss your audience and that there's going to be a disconnect. It's almost like having someone else do your speech writing for you. And then you look at the teleprompter and then you look down and then you look at the teleprompter. There's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Even if you're charismatic and are a great speech teller. You know, the people that get it most is TED Talks. Like they really have it honed in. All right, so there is a site, and I've never used it, but I know about it. AI to human text converter.com. That C might be an error, so try both. But basically what this does is someone programmed another AI to sound more human. So you can run it through AI and then you can run it through the more human AI. Now, used for forces of good or forces of evil, right? I believe if money was all I was after and I just focused on acupuncture business coach, I could probably make a lot more money. I would help all the acupuncturists. And if I had a list of 40,000 acupuncturists globally, then I could sell them stuff that maybe I don't believe in. And that's not what I'm about. So although it's not an easy life for me to own a wellness center and be an executive and business coach, I do it because I have multiple interests. You know, I also do it because I'm super efficient. So I still have time to hunt and fish and hang out with my family. Like my wife and I homeschool as well. So, you know, it is, the simpler you can make your life, the less problems you have. All right. Keywords can also be helpful. So, there's a whole new generation of business owners that are coming in, and they are realizing that if I name my company Grief Coach Oregon, and my whole goal is to become the best grief coach in the state of Oregon, doors open and things happen. So keywords can be helpful. Think about the name of your business. Does it talk about the problem? Does it talk about the location? The name of the wellness center I opened with my wife is Wallowa Avenue Wellness. Now, the county we live in is Wallowa, but what street do we live on? Wallowa Avenue, right? So revisit your website. Think about, do you have SEO on your website? If not, if you're like on page 40 or 60 for what you do for a living, then online is not helping you. You need some new strategies. And if you can get on the homepage of Google, or you can be in the top 3 places on Google Maps for Google Business Profile, you're going to generate more business, right? It's not all about the sit down anymore. Although people are craving that, sometimes they won't make time for it. Yeah. It's about really connecting in ways that can be simple and easy for them to digest. And that's why if you can get your 60-second commercial down to 30 seconds, but they remember it, it's more valuable. So I don't know, Becky, if you introduced me to Sarah Victory. I met Sarah Victory a long time ago, probably 20 years ago. She's a consultant, and she taught me the original formula. And the original formula I used to use is, you know how blank, well, I blank, and my clients report blank.
Yeah.
Right. And so we take that into a real life example. You know how consultants share you need to be on social media, and you've tried and gotten little results? Well, I focus my client strategy solely on free use of Google Business Profiles, and they report increased phone calls and sales without all the hassles of IG, at Facebook, and TikTok. And this is true. I mean, I have a client that has a online CBD company. And I said, have you thought about at the distributor where you make the product, you just had a small retail section, and then you got Google Business Profiles to focus on it. And it's only been 3 months, and they're now doing $2,500 a month of walk-through traffic.
Wow.
I have another client that's in these slides, and he's an acupuncturist. Now, inside Portland, I don't know how many acupuncturists there are, but there's a lot. There's a lot because there was 2 schools for a while. One of the schools just closed. But ultimately, when you're competing against, let's say, real estate, how many realtors are there in the state of Oregon, right?
I don't know, but too many.
Too many, way too many, way too many. And there's a few that don't make any sales, and there's a few that make like 2 sales, and then there's some that, like Kim Dittler probably sold 200 houses last year, right? So it is what it is. But if you can start figuring out your SEO, so this is Travis Kane, I'll get to a slide in a second, but we switched his strategy from acupuncture to kinesiology. He's out now the first person, if you put in Portland kinesiology on Google Maps.
Wow.
And he's getting phone calls left and right where he wasn't with acupuncture. So sometimes just a small pivot makes all the difference. Now, my guess is that, well, I'll come back to my guess. Here's another formula. So I'll go back to the first formula. You know how blank, well, I blank, my clients report blank. So Michelle, who do you love to work with?
Sorry, unmuting. You know, I'm pretty new.
Yeah.
So I would love to do more with first time home buyer. I mean, I love to do residential, you know, not necessarily family, but people just I love to work with people that are just excited to get into a house, you
Have
know,
you
and
sold your
people
first
who
house yet? Have you sold your first house?
so I've done I was able to
Go
refer
listing?
something out and then I was
Mm.
able to do a manufactured home, but
Mhm, mhm.
the house not yet. So
Okay, great.
yeah, it's been tough getting going. That's why I say there's too many agents because there's so many people that already have their person. And so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to break in and it's been harder than I expected. By
Okay,
a lot.
great. Because you haven't done the market research, I would say it's going to be a little harder until you talk to people, especially the first-time home buyer. So
Mhm.
I'm just going to make this up on the fly. And so then you'll have to revisit it to see, is there anything there worth taking or not? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how first-time home buyers don't believe that they can buy a home, but they know that they're paying more for their rent than they would be for a mortgage? Well, I work with the best lenders in the state of Oregon that do everything they can to get you approved at the percentage rate that works for you so you can keep the same monthly rent, but you end up owning the home. My
Yeah.
clients
No, that sounds good.
report being so grateful to be out from under renting month after month after month, knowing that property values keep going up. And they're grateful to finally have an asset of their own. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know how many heads you can see. I can only see 4 or 5 at a time, and they're all doing this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what you want. When you get that head nod, when you're speaking, you know they hear you. All right, so we go formula number 2. I help X target market do Y what you do so they can Z the outcome or result, right? So this is just another template because I think working with templates in the beginning can be super helpful to find which one you resonate most with.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I have a true story, and that is it's been so long that I've worked with Chris Mack. I see his videos, but I couldn't remember his name. What I did remember is that when we worked together, that he was very interested in downsizing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
put Portland downsize realtor. Guess who came up number 2? And when I looked on his site, I could tell he's using this formula. I help
Yeah.
Portlanders sell their current homes so they can downsize.
Mhm.
How amazing is it that it's probably been 12 years since Chris and I worked together? I don't know. It's been a while. So
Probably.
if you see him, Lynn, you tell him.
I'll definitely say you said hi, but yeah.
Not only
Eh,
said that I said hi, but tell him 2 things. Tell him 1, he's doing a great job. And tell him 2, that his social media energy isn't connecting to his website because they're not threaded together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he'll probably do something about that.
Yeah.
It actually goes, his social media goes to his Facebook page, which he's not as active on.
Right.
And he's doing a lot of reels. And so that should be a seamless thread. But
Right.
yeah, and he can reach out to me if he wants. Anyway, so we come here, and the last template I want to give you guys today is a hook. So ask a question, solution, share a role, and the outcome, explain the benefit. So we take a look, and this is Travis Kane, and Travis is the acupuncturist kinesiologist.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever had a symptom but wanted to it should say know what was causing it? I'm Travis Kane, and I simplify holistic healthcare by focusing on kinesiology so you can understand the messages your body is giving. Through personalized care, I help my clients regain balance and vitality and they often report feeling more energized and in control of their wellness journey. Why do I love that last sentence? Any guesses?
Because that's how you do healthcare. You want
Not
people
only
to take
that, but
control.
who doesn't want to be in control of their own healthcare, and
Right.
who feels
Yeah.
out of control when you're dealing with insurance and you like, you know, the challenge with the US healthcare system right now is that everyone has specialized. So now you have 3 specialists that don't talk to each other and all recommending medications that don't align with each other. And so what we're seeing is a total breakdown in communication of you having one guide to walk you through. So those on the call, if you're interested, I highly recommend you find a naturopathic physician that can prescribe. They have the same DEA license, so they can do hormones and they can do pain pills and they can do sleep medication and they can do antibiotics. And you let them guide your care with you.
I agree completely with that.
Got to find the right one.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
a lot of them take insurance, and the ones that don't, if you can afford it, sometimes working outside the system is the best way to go. So we got 10 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, I just wanted to work with people. So I have 2 slides left. Really, the
Can you
review.
Go back to the one that you said, the hook. I didn't get all 3 of those steps.
Oh,
The
sure. Hook,
Solution.
solution, outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Keep it to 60 seconds or under. I would try to shoot for 30 seconds. If you nail it, people are going to remember it.
Yeah.
Tailor to your audience. So if you don't have an audience, you have a problem with your business.
Being in leads groups, we've seen people with the 5-minute elevator speech that just kill the energy in every room.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the
I'm
worst.
And sometimes we're like, what do they do?
I'm
Right.
afraid I'm going to miss
Right.
a customer, so I'm going to list everything I do.
Yeah. I would just say, for those people, send them the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
All right.
go.
Practice makes perfect. If you have a spouse, a partner, a child, like practice it before you go do it. And then invite engagement. So you can always end with a question if you want. Like, you also could end with a call to action. Now, I think it's really important that when you nail it, you're going to see those heads bob. And you want them to bob up and down, not side to side. All right. So next steps. You have my information here. You can always reach out to me. I do recommend, if you're not going to reach out to me, keep going, die, take the lead, and find a buddy. So find someone you can start unpacking your business with. And then Google Business Profiles, I charge $400 or $525. There might be a special online for October, but it's not $250. It's probably $450 or $475. And so if you want me to walk through step by step your Google Business Profile and how you should do it, for I Take the Lead members, I'll do it for $250. And that takes 1 hour for me to walk through that with you. Now, I want to come back here rather than stay on that slide. Let's see if there's any brave souls. Is there anyone that would be willing to work with me for just a couple of minutes about your business to get your talk, your intro?
Oh,
So Julie, we worked with you, and you and I talked just a little bit. I want to make sure, I can only see a certain number of people. Are there any other hands? And if
No.
there's no other hands, great. Julie, go ahead and take yourself off mute.
I think I did already. Yeah.
Okay,
there we
great.
go.
Great. So what I have so far is that there's a theme of loss.
You know, the theme has been all along, like climbing up out of the hole of darkness to light up your life with things you want to do. And so as I got more specific in just giving some talks recently, I realized that a lot of time that dark hole has to do with loss. And when
Yeah,
I
so
look back at my book the other day, I started like almost tearing up. I was describing this and I went back to my memoir and I realized that some of that was about loss. And I just hadn't even thought of it that way.
yeah, great. So you're seeing a new perspective and a new lens.
Yeah.
Right. So out of the three formulas, which one do you resonate with?
um, I guess I liked that first one. You know how well my clients report.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do two. I'm going to start with that one, but there's another formula that I didn't put on the slides that may work for you. Okay.
Yeah.
You know how when you're in a dark cave and your flashlight goes out, you can't see anything except darkness? And that's what it's like when you're experiencing loss, and often there's no hope. So you try counseling, you try lots of things, and ultimately it's not working because you need someone that has experienced loss. I'm Julie Little. I've experienced loss. I understand it, and I'm here. The people that I've worked with realize that it's hard to ask for help, but once they can, everything gets better and they're able to get their life back. If you know someone or you personally are experiencing loss, I invite you to a 20-minute call that's got no pressure and just allows someone else to lend you some light in the darkness. I'm Julie Little, your loss coach.
I think I'm gonna cry.
I know that
You
gave me.
you got like
Yeah.
all this emotion in there, the dark cave.
That was really good.
Yep.
This is being recorded because I certainly didn't
Yes.
feel
Yeah,
that.
it's being
Yes.
recorded, and I don't need
Yeah.
to do the other template. The other template is just tell a story.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot about that, and I feel like, gosh, which story? I got a
Yeah,
book.
I don't think
I
you
got a
do it.
book
I think
full.
you take what I just said, you make it your own,
Yeah.
and I think people are going to resonate.
Yeah.
How many people are still on the call, Becky?
8. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 8.
The 8 of you, like I get paid top dollar for this stuff and you can get it for free. So get yourself off mute and let's work out one more before I close out.
Yeah.
Who is it?
I think you already kind of did mine, right?
Yeah, I got you in the
Yeah.
ballpark.
Yeah. So,
So let's
yeah.
find one more person.
My name is Paula, and I'm an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics.
I love it, Paula. And I so wish my screen would shift because I can't see your face, but I can hear you perfectly.
Well, we don't see her face. She's got it. Yeah, that's
Oh,
why.
yeah. No worries. No worries. So Paula, you're a Mary Kay rep.
Oh, there she is.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm not supposed to ask. I know you don't dye your hair, but how old are you?
Now, Mary Kay said a woman who will tell her age is a woman who will tell anything.
I love it. I love it. You're not going to tell me. You're not going to tell me.
Yeah.
There's something about you. You have very graceful presence. So someone in your age range doing Mary Kay is really a competitive advantage versus someone who's 20, 25, right?
Okay, right.
Now Mary Kay also has a huge story. So if you've studied the background of Mary Kay, there's a lot in there that's personally motivating because Mary Kay isn't a cosmetic line. It's an inspirational empowerment line.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. And so what do you say now, Paul? I'm so curious.
Well, my elevator speech at I Take the Lead is, my name is Polly Hendricks Priere. I'm an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I get the privilege of helping build and boost self-esteem and confidence. I do that by having get-togethers in my studio, in their home, or on Zoom, whichever is most comfortable for them.
And how's the response been?
Not that much. It's better. I've been working on it, and that's my most recent. And I do see shaking the head that I'm not particularly getting a lot of leads from I Take the Lead.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the formula for, like, if someone wanted to work with you, do you do a free facial? Like, I'm not quite sure the system.
It's a complimentary facial. We get together, we go through skincare first. So when someone makes an appointment with me, they get the opportunity for 2 appointments. The first one is the skincare because that's the most important piece.
Mhm.
And then after the skincare, in my particular business, whether they purchase or not, I do a follow-up facial with them, and then we can play with color.
Mm.
It's all complimentary. I make my money when I provide them with good quality service and they make the decision to purchase.
So really, it doesn't cost them anything to have that consult.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And it's very interesting that the last 3 people that you worked with, how old were they?
There are well, I Take the Lead people.
Mhm.
And so they're in their 40s, 50s.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we're gonna bump on time for 4 minutes. Okay. So
Okay.
if you have to go, anyone on the call except Paula, you have to go. So I'm just gonna channel this for a second, okay?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Paula. I'm a Mary Kay consultant, and if you're not aware, Mary Kay started in 1963 with $5,000, and now she's a global operation in 40 countries with millions of independent beauty consultants worldwide. She believed that beauty isn't just external, it's internal. And so I have a simple consult that's no cost because we believe in earning business through the experience that you have. I only work with women 50 years or older. I'm not into the Botox. I'm not into the latest surgeries. I'm into having women that have been around to know how to feel good and look good. If you're interested, let me know.
I like that.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's interesting because Mary Kay is reinvented in a way that Barbie has, where I think you have some important keynote pieces there.
Mhm.
And this is a wild idea, but I actually think you could have a huge market of 70 and older.
Finding
not-
that market has been a niche that I haven't slid into. I've
Yeah.
gone to the residences, the senior residences, and that's just not working out for me.
Great. And so at the senior residences, it's probably not going to work out, but the assisted living, which is a step below, might work out.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the senior residence, it's a different marketplace, right? And so assisted
Right.
living would be, you have an apartment complex and it's like over 50 or over 60 and you're independent. So I would focus on the independent living. And then I would work with someone a little bit, maybe with I Take the Lead, of really nailing, like, are you and Julie in the same group?
No,
No,
No. Do you guys know each other?
no.
I would see if you, on the chat, you can do a private chat, see if you can exchange information, because Julie was shaking her head in a way that she understands your market. And I think she can give you insights that I could channel into, but that I can't give you. I'm not
I'm
a 60-year-old woman.
65, so I'm not yet 70, but I also do teach Tai Chi in an independent living center.
There's a
Okay.
doorway. There's a doorway,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about
And
55 and over communities with HOAs? where they have
Yes.
clubhouses doing something there.
Perfect, perfect. Now the HOAs are great because often they're looking for community gatherings. And
Absolutely.
I'm a big one, like I'm a fan of efficiency more than you would ever know. And so what I would do is I would do a group one, and I would either do 55 and older, or I would do a 55 and older and bring your child, bring your daughter.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
my brain goes to, how can I get in their world? I don't think you're going to have a problem if you're with the right audience in the enrollment cycle. I think your problem is a little bit twofold. The first is the enticement to do something for free. Where's the value? Right.
Right.
And that is that women your age, a little bit below, a little bit above, are going to relate. They miss those old days. They miss going down to the diner and having coffee and having a cigarette.
Well, maybe not the cigarette.
Yeah.
It was a joke. It was a
Yeah,
joke.
I know.
But they do miss that face to face.
Right.
And, maybe it's fun if they go with their daughter to Sephora, but a lot of that makeup has a lot of stuff in it. And
Yeah.
I talked about the endocrine receptors. My guess is Mary Kay's on it. So I would really encourage you to start interviewing 55 plus.
Okay.
And what are they looking for? What kind of products do they use? Who are they using? That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Becky, are you going to send a list like you normally do of the participants to us as well?
No, I don't have, no, we don't, no, that's for only. for
Julie,
speed
can I get your
networking.
permission that you can give Becky permission to share your information with Paula?
Yeah. Oh, that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you be okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all permission based. A no's okay here. A no's okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Julie?
yes, that's fine.
And I'll gladly
Great.
do an intro for you both.
Great. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Becky, I don't want you to miss that. Julie said that
Yeah.
was okay for you to give Julie's information to Paula. Because I really do, Julie, when I saw your head, I realized that you understand that marketplace in a way that Julie might be missing it, right?
That Paula might be missing it, yeah.
Exactly. Now I know that we're over time. All right. I
Oh.
really appreciate, you guys could have been doing anything during this last hour. And I really appreciate you guys coming to this talk. Consider the Google Business Profile, and just know with I Take the Lead, there are people here that you could connect with. And so if you're not getting leads, like if you keep going and you're not getting leads, talk to Becky, talk to Lynn, retool your talk. And I believe that a crack will happen. So thank you so much. You
Well,
guys have a
thank
beautiful
you.
day.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks,
you
Jason.
so
Great
much.
as always.
Bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.